coming through. It's just a green stripe across the top.
A green stripe across the top. Huh. Well, let me try that again.
PBS, that's the 73's withdrawal letter, and the Frankenstein guy came across clear here.
Thanks, Charles. That's good to know. I was worried there for a moment.
Side. Weird, though.
Well, in about 4 minutes, we'll iron all this out.
Charles, I got something to tell you here.
Ed.
Took a close look at when you load the image, you have that crop field that comes up. And what I've got checked is H over W. That means keep aspect ratio. Right next to that is one that's called no stretching. I do not have that marked or checked. And next to that is one that says stretching. So I'm wondering if you try H over W, it would solve the problem, or check and make sure the box that says stretching is not checked.
For the information, did you find that under option, under the option thing?
When I just load a picture, it automatically pops up on my screen.
Check that out. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. That's good information. I will check it out.
I think that does pop up when you load a picture from file. I've got, what do you call this there? Extended view here. So I'm running 2 monitors. So I take an image off, say, the right monitor and flip it over into the transmit box. And that's what pops up the crop box. I just call it the crop box because it shows the image and then shows how it would be cropped.
I will look for that here. Yeah, to see what's on. But yeah, I appreciate that.
All right, good evening, everyone. It's Sunday evening, 8 p.m. and time for Carl's Central Michigan Slow Scan TV Net. This net is held each Sunday evening at 8 p.m. for the purpose of sharing information, training in the digital and analog modes, and preparation to serve our community in time of need. This is Rick, KC8LOQ, and I will be your net control operator for this evening. All amateurs are welcome to join in, and we ask that all comments and questions be directed to net control. So let me know if you're short-time mobile or if none of the above. I'll just figure you're a regular check-in. So So with that, we're accepting all check-ins. This is Rick, KC8LOQ. Please call now.
JPVS, and again, I'll be off at 9.
Romeo, Quebec, Sierra, Steve, Clinton County, W8RQS.
Kilo 8, Juliet, Uniform, K8, JJU, Joe in Onondaga. I'll be in and out tonight.
Kilo Foxtrot 8, Charlie, Hotel Sierra, KF8, CHS, Robin Lansing. All right, I've got WD8 PVS, W8RQS, K8 JJU, Joe, short time, thanks for checking in with us tonight, and KF8 CHS. At the end of the list, any more check-ins to Carl's in Central Michigan Slow Scan TV net. This is a net where we share pictures back and forth over the radio. So this is Rick, KC8LOQ. Please call net control now.
This is KF8, APM, Jason Williamson.
All right, Jason, KF8, APM, got you on the list. Any more check-ins, please call net control now.
W8BBI, repeater.
All right, well, we got a pretty good list going tonight. We'll maybe pick up a few here towards as the minutes tick off. So welcome, everybody, to the net tonight. Hopefully we'll have a good round of, well, we always have a good round of pictures. And since it's cold outside, I can think of not seeing, can't get my eye teeth working there. Nothing better than sitting in a shack trading pictures back and forth. So, like I say, it has been one cold winter. Boy, I think it's going to be a few weeks even before it goes above freezing. In fact, I haven't heard any predictions yet of it going above freezing. The middle section of the country is having trouble too. Lots of people out of power in Tennessee. Our relatives in North Carolina sent us pictures of them sledding, which is very unusual for them. About a foot of snow down there, and they're cold. That's cold for them. So, been tinkering around in the shack a little bit. Not doing really any major work, just a little organizing and working with the computers, trying to get those operating well, which is always an ongoing saga. Went to play at Work Center tonight with my wife and I, and had a pretty good time there, seeing Hadestown. It's really good music, and that's what I like about the play. So, well, let's see. With that, I'll turn it over and see what everyone else has been up to. And Charles, I got your notice about having to check out at 9. No problem. If we're not around to pick you up at that time, just go ahead, and appreciate you letting us know here. So you're at the top of the list, WD8 PBS. What's new with you?
Rick and everybody out there on the net. I've just been busy on things around the house here. I just ran in. I was outside with the telescope looking at the moon, and it was cold as heck out there. I wanted to get to see play around with Saturn, or not Saturn, Jupiter, which is just to the top right now of the moon, but it just got too cold. My fingers were frozen, so came in. Today we went to haven't been there in a while, the State Museum there, and that had a great time. Sunday at 3, and it's magnificent. If you've never been there, historical museum in the state of Michigan. Did that today. That was a lot of fun, and didn't do any real woodwork. I finished up the project for my buddy, and then I did made a mortar and pestle out of a couple pieces of walnut I have. But no, other than that, that's about it. Just trying to stay warm. Back to you.
Boy, I admire your tenacity there, Charles, for getting out on a telescope. I have, believe it or not, thought about it when I looked at the sky, and it's so clear. And also listening to the last episode of our astronomy series, it's just starting to get a little more technical. To where, it's good to hear a lot of the stuff there, brushing up on what I already kind of knew but sort of forgot. But at any rate, what was your take on the latest class?
Really good. I was a little confused, especially using the, what do you call, the little chart thing. I've got one. It was a good refresher on that, but sometimes the star skipping stuff, jumping, I guess you call it, gets a little confusing to me. But yeah, he's just a wealth of information in there, and I find for me a lot of it does go over my head, but it's definitely a great class. It's well worth the time.
Yeah, I was surprised that he didn't like phone apps. The one I have, I find very useful to identify major stars, especially when there's so much light pollution around here. I can't hardly even make out any constellations or asterisms, I guess is the other word for it, to find my way around. And mine has got a night mode, so it's very usable, but that's just my take, I guess. I really like those phone apps, but not as a substitute, but just as a quick guide to getting around. So anyway, good to have you with us tonight, Charles, and hope to see some of your pictures there. So Steve, W8RQS, and I just happen to have, since you and Rob are with us tonight, I have my boating picture already that I promised from last week. So tell me how you been and what's new with you.
I've been doing fine, Rick. Staying inside quite a bit. Staying warm. Just getting out. I just go out for 10, 15 minutes and then do something and then come back in. So I'm not really getting much done. But doing some stuff inside the house and, just carrying on.
I'm the same way. I don't venture out much at all. If I shovel, I get all bundled up and get out and shovel, and then I'm done. I scoot back in the house. So, that image that you talked about with the blue line in front of it, was that the one that I sent?
So I'm rather puzzled about it. So if Charles got it, then you must be transmitting. So maybe it's something on my end. I don't know. We'll find out.
I've been doing some fiddling with my interface here. I have a signal link, and I've been really trying to refine the settings and be careful that I don't clip or overload the audio. I've been very concerned about that, and also trying to measure the frequency response of the signal link to make sure all the frequencies that I'm sending are going through, because I do a lot of packet work, and it's important with the digital data, especially with slow scan TV too. But some of the digital data goes up a little higher in frequency, so I wanted to make sure everything was working there. And I thought, oh geez, I busted something which would not be unheard of. We'll keep track of it for tonight too, Steve. So thanks for coming in and checking in with us tonight. Rob, KF8CHS. Hey, your signal's a little scratchy tonight, but definitely readable. How you been and what's new?
KF8, not a lot new. Similar to dealing with the snow day, came down and trying to stay warm and out of the outdoors. Was up at Rhonda's house yesterday, doing some work in her basement and some wiring and keeping her happy. And then back to the grind tomorrow. That's all I got. Back to net.
It's good to hear you tonight, Rob. You're got some small breaks in your transmission. Very minor. It's just gaps in the audio. No noise or anything like that, but just little small gaps. Not sure what that is. Is that you got a loose mic cord or something like that?
WHBCI repeater.
KF8CHS, I was using a headset, which is new to me, and I think I'm still working on the settings for that. This is the microphone that came with the radio now.
Okay, that was solid. I wonder, excuse me, if you're using Vox, maybe it's right on the edge or something, because it's a very clean gap. It's not like noisy or anything, but yeah. But hey, we can help you work that out. So anyway, good to have you tonight, and hopefully we'll get some, I'll show you some of my, or at least one of my boating pictures here that I keep trying to get you guys to see and never seem to remember. So any rate, let's see, well, that brings us to KF8 APM. Jason, hey man, how you been? And it's getting pretty close to, well, not really. I guess you got to wait for the first thaw, I think, before you do any maple syrup stuff. So, hey, what's new with you out there?
How's it going, Rick? KF8 APM. Yeah, we got, it's sometimes we start about mid-February. It's probably not going to happen this year. Actually, I almost guarantee you that. But it'll probably be either the first or probably the first week of March, if I had to guess, somewhere around there. We'll see what the does. So we got about a month yet. But no, we've been trying to get stocked up. Everything's frozen up now, so we've been cutting a lot of firewood, trying to get wood shed stocked up before it gets muddy out. And we did, Jack actually helped me today. We cleaned off a bunch of snow off from the pond finally, and trying to get that cleaned off, and that way the kids can hopefully ice skate this week. And they've been doing a whole bunch of snowmobiling around the yard out front. I don't think there's any snow that hasn't been ridden over yet, so they're having fun with that. But nope, just doing the thing, you know, the family stuff. So, but other than that, KF8 APM, back to net.
Gave me a chuckle there, Jason. And there's not a spot out there the kids haven't run over. I know exactly what you mean. We got our grandkids when they get out to playing. There's not a not a thing untouched. And if they're in the house, they get a hold of these Nerf guns, and I find these little Nerf things months after, behind the couch and under the chairs, and the cat will find one every once in a while and start playing with it, and that just reminded me of that. So that's pretty funny. How's the livestock holding up? Are they pretty much hunker down inside for the winter?
Yeah, actually, I completely forgot about that. The boys helped me. We hauled we moved 14 bales of hay from the stock pile in the big barn over to the small shed there where the goats all stay. And no, they're doing good. They're fluffy. They got shelter. They can get inside the barn where it's nice and warm and dry. So they got it pretty good. And I think the rabbits are good. The chickens are good. The ducks love this weather. So yeah, everything's doing well.
Pretty cool. I have to admire nature, the animals being able to weather this kind of cold. I mean, I saw the squirrels and rabbits out back just playing like, nothing was going on. It was about 10, 12 degrees out, and didn't seem to faze them a bit. They're built for it. So some animals I know go into it's not a hibernation, but I forgot the word for it. Where everything just kind of slows down and they get real lethargic. But and it's not something I could do. Well, I get lethargic enough during the winter. I should say that. Lots of low energy activity. But being retired, I figured I'm allowed that. So good to have you with us tonight, Jason. All right, that brings us to the end of the list. Let's see if we can pick up anyone else to tonight's Slow Scan TV Net. This is Rick, KC8LOQ, Net Control. Please call now. All right, well, let's get to what we all came here for, images. Charles, you're at the top of the list. WT8 PBS, your turn for an image.
This will be Scotty 2.
That's hilarious. That's like the old 1950s picture, reminds me of all those ads that you used to see years ago. Picking up some static from our repeater. If I see any more, I think we're going to have to switch over to the 146.700. And, I tell you what, why don't we just do that? Because I'm afraid this is just going to become worse. And then I'm going to have you send that image one more time, Charles. So, and it usually happens right about this time, too, close to 8:30. So guys, I want to switch over to the 146.700 repeater because of static on this one. So go ahead and QSY, and I'll walk the list and pick you up when we switch over. KC8LOQ, QSY.
8 RQS, QSY to 700 machine.
Is the frequency in use?
This is CW8BCI repeater DL107.2.
All right, nothing heard. This is KC8 LOQ net control for the slow scan TV net. We QSY'd here from the other repeater, so we're going to pick up and hold tonight's net on this frequency. Let's make sure everybody came over okay. WDA PBS. WDA PBS. Charles, did you make the jump? Boy, hopefully you didn't lose it. W8RQS. Steve.
Roger, roger. Loud and clear, W8RQS.
Okay, KF8CHS. Rob.
KF8CHS made the jump.
Okay, you sound more clear on this one. KF8APM. Jason.
Roger, roger. KF8 APM.
Nice and strong signal, Jason. Charles, one more time. WD8 PVS.
Rated on my one I use for the audio, but I've got the other unit I use for slow scan switched over yet. So why don't you go ahead and then check back with me.
All right, not a problem, Charles. We got your image, so we'll run through some comments. Steve, W8RQS, a comment.
Yeah, Rick, you hit it right. You hit the nail right on the head there. It looks like some of the stuff you'd see back in the 1950s QSLs or whatever. I like it.
Yep, that's a classic. Boy, I'm not sure. He's got a handheld, and he's got a desktop in the back there, map of the world. Boy, he's all set. That's just a classic. KF8CHS Rob, a comment.
KF8CHS, love the cheesy old posters like that.
Yeah, I do too, man. It's a forgotten era. Everybody was so naive and, clean cut. Man, oh man. KF8 APM Jason, comment.
And KF8 APM. Yeah, no, it was a great image. I got a good chuckle out of it when I read it too. That was pretty nice. So, good image. KF8 APM, back to that.
All righty then. Well, Charles, we'll give you a little bit more time here to get your image straightened out. We'll go to Steve, W8RQS. Your turn for an image.
Okay, stand by for just a second. I'll key one up here. have an issue here on transmit as well. You didn't get anything, did you?
Yeah, I got the first top half. It's all gray, but it looks like it could have been part of an image, and then it just stopped.
Okay, well, first top of the image is all gray, so I'll go ahead and send it.
Wow, that is beautiful. What a beautiful image. At first, it reminded me of something in like Utah or Arizona or somewhere like that. What a cool rock formation. And that tree just standing right outside in the open there. Tell us about this picture.
I can't really remember the name of this place, but it's in Kansas, and it's way off the beaten path. So from the major highway going through Kansas, I think I drove about 18 miles south, and then turned down a dirt road, and went a short distance, and then drove into a farmer's field, which was open. And there's a lot more rock formations other than just this one. And it was kind of like a signpost for the early wagons going west. And it's called, actually a route through there called the Overland Butterfield Dispatch. And a stagecoach went through there too, so some of the early pioneers went through this area. And it's way off in Kansas. I get off the roads sometimes. W8RQS.
W8BBI repeater.
Boy, it's a beautiful image, and you framed it really well. And man, oh man, what a cool monument. I could see where it would be kind of a landmark to see this thing probably miles away. W8DHPBS. Charles, the comment?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where that was and what the monument to is, but it's a very good image. Came across really good.
Yeah, it is a pretty one. KF8CHS. Rob, the comment?
KFACHS. I thought the same thing you did. I thought it was Utah for sure. Back to net. Good picture. Love it.
Yeah, that is a pretty one, definitely. KF8APM. Jason, the comment?
KFA at 8 p.m. Yeah, that image came through great. I really like like you said, Rick. I really like the fact that that tree is just kind of there. It's kind of neat looking, and it definitely looked like something you'd see out like Utah or whatever. But pretty interesting. Thanks for sharing, Steve. KFA at 8 p.m. Back to net.
Yeah, cool picture, Steve. All right, KF8CHS. Rob, your turn for an image.
I'm going to stick with the theme of sailboat. And I'm hoping that the word come out in this. It's a nice quote. This will be Scotty 2 when the repeater drops.
Beautiful. Really cool. I want to say sunset, but it could be, I'm guessing that's a sunset. Yeah. And the words, I wonder if, yeah, it's too bad they don't list who said that, or maybe it's just kind of a generic thing. It sounds something like Jimmy Buffett or somebody like that would say something like this. But cool picture. Charles, WD8PBS.
Yeah, it's a beautiful image of that, so serene. I'd love to be out on that sailboat, weather like that, with the sunset or sunrise like that. Beautiful. WDPBS.
Bob, I'm sorry, KF8CHS. I should have given you the opportunity to go ahead and comment on this.
So that was taken probably 3 or 4 years ago. Just north of Drummond Island is an island called Harbor Island. And it literally is shaped like a donut. And with a cove, you can sail into the center of it. And you could easily put 90 sailboats in there. It's pretty big, but it's totally protected from, all sides. And I was out in the dinghy coming back to the boat and saw this, sunset, and just the way that everything was reflecting on the water. She took a bunch of pictures, and that is blown up 20 by 30 on my living room wall. Back to net.
Boy, I can see why. Beautiful picture. Man, oh man. Steve, W8RQS, the comments.
I I like it, Rob. I've heard that comment before, so it certainly is fitting. I can't remember what I was going to do that I didn't do, so for me it doesn't matter sometimes. But I love sailing pictures, and I think I've got one on my QRZ page that Carl said was his favorite image. It's the sailboat. My brother took a picture of me sailing while we were running from the storm, it's called. So it's either on my QRZ page or my W8RQS/MM for Marine Mobile page. There's another one there. So I've got some pictures of sailing there. Can't remember all of them, but I'll have to have a couple keyed up and ready to go someday. W8RQS back to net.
Yeah, boy, that water is nice. Just very little ripple in it. Man, oh man, what a ideal place to anchor off. KF8, 8 p.m. Jason, a comment.
Great image. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think this was a picture that you had taken. I thought this was like something you pulled off from the internet or whatever. That's a nice looking image, and I like the saying too. I really do. It's sometimes it's hard to go. It's easier to just stay home and stay safe, but sometimes you just gotta, like you said, drop the lines and set sail and go play a little bit. But I do like the saying. Thanks for sharing. KF8, 8 p.m. Back to that.
Yeah, it reminded me of a classic. There are a lot of classic statements like that about getting out and doing stuff. And the one I always used to remember was nobody ever put on their gravestone, gee, I wish I'd have spent more time at the office. And I remember when I was a working stiff, I'd always try to remember that, you know. And sometimes it just, you work the long hours week after week, and it seems like nothing, you do nothing but go to work, sleep, go back to work, sleep, and, you know, there's huge runs like that. I think we've all been there, and always liked quotes like this, you know, definitely. Jason, KF8, 8 p.m., your turn for an image.
All right, KF8, 8 p.m. All right, we'll do Scotty 2 on this one. This was actually Matt made it onto the Lansing Lugnuts Facebook page, and we took a screenshot of it. So I'll share that. I'll let you know more about it. KF8, 8 p.m.
Oh, Matt, way to go. Man, is that a wonderful image, Jason. What a wonderful image. Was that, well, tell us a little bit about this, and who took it, and how he managed to get his picture on this, on the Lansing Lug Nut page.
Yeah, so last year we did this thing. They do it every year. I think just about every game they do this thing. It's the Meyer Dream Team. And so any of the local youth teams can sign up for it, and you go, and they actually get to run out on the field, get announced, and run out on the field, and then they stand out there during the national anthem with the lug nut players, and then they all come back in. So it's really fun for the kids. Good experience. And this is when he was getting announced, and he was running out. I believe he was actually going to right field. But they had taken this picture, and they had it, and then they were advertising for the thing to come up again, and he was right on there, the top first image. So it was pretty neat to see that. That was kind of fun to share. So yeah, I thought I'd share that one. KF8 8 p.m. Back to net.
Boy, that's definitely a cool image, Jason. And if you, Matt, if you're there, way to go, man. This is one for the record books. You'll look back on this and treasure this kind of image, man. It's framed really, really well. WD8 PBS Charles, comment.
That's an opportunity of a lifetime, and be able to have it on their webpage. That's amazing. So good job, WDPBS.
That definitely is. W8RQS, Steve, a comment.
Yeah, that's an excellent image, Jason. That's something for the family archives. Keep track of those kids growing up all the time. W8RQS, back to net.
Yeah, boy, they grow up fast too. KF8 CHS, Rob, a comment.
KF8 CHS, great picture. I love it when the lug nuts do special events, things like that, to involve the youth in any way, shape, or form. And this is Matt whittling away at his 15 minutes of fame a little bit at a time. Back to net.
Yep, you got it. That was that Andy Warhol. I thought I just said something like that. The 15 minutes of fame. That's boy. It's something that's quite true in a lot of cases. Well, all right. You know, Charles, WD8PBS, I want to give you the opportunity to send that picture of yours over without any static. So it's your turn. Go ahead and give us that first one you sent.
Turn the audio down about 50%.
Okay, we'll do that. And again, it's Scotty.
Charles, you still with us? We're getting nothing here.
Yeah. Oh, I bet I forgot to change the PL, so I'll give it another try.
Okay, we got a little something there, Charles, but mostly silent. Okay, I think I might have stepped on you a little bit, Charles. We got part of the image, and I think I transmitted over the top. You want to try it one more time?
Okay, same thing.
There you go. Thanks, Charles. I gotta have a clean image of this picture. This is a classic. Man, oh man. There you go. Yep, came through fine. No static. So appreciate you sending it again. And I think I heard Stephen at the end there. WA8 LMF. Are you checking in with us tonight, Stephen?
I checked in over half an hour ago, but apparently you didn't get it. No, he was transmitting simplex. He was not on the repeater.
Okay. Boy, you could have fooled me, man. It came through great here. No, I'm sorry, Stephen. I must have missed you. Apologize for that. Now that I got you on the list, we're at the bottom, and I'm wondering, are there any others who would like to join us for tonight's Slow Scan TV Net? This is Rick, KC8 LOQ. Please call now.
W8BBI repeater.
I guess other than WHBCI, we got a full list. Well, Stephen, good to hear you tonight. Glad you found us. We had to switch over because of some static on the other repeater. But how you been, and what's new with you?
Well, yesterday I drove, 2 days ago, Friday, I drove about a 200-mile round trip from here to Kalamazoo to pick up my sister at her farm, drive her to the airport in Grand Rapids, and then drive home back here to Hazlitt. And then spent the last 2 days struggling with audio setup for sound card apps on my latest laptop that I'm using in the car, the Toughbook CF54 Panasonic ruggedized laptop. I have a convention that I route the GPS data to several applications on the computer. Well, I bring the GPS data in on a COM port 5 from a USB to serial converter, and then through a splitter that delivers, just say it comes in on, what am I saying? Comes in on COM 7 and goes out on through a splitter on COM 5, where 4 different programs use the data stream at the same time, and I've been doing that for years on different computers. It absolutely, positively wouldn't work on this new computer. The device manager was showing COM 5 not in use, and yet I simply couldn't select COM 5 for anything. And after 2 days of investigation, I finally discovered that this new computer has a touch-sensitive screen on it. You can actually tap stuff on the screen as an alternative to mouse clicks. And it turns out that somewhere deep down in the internals of Windows 10, the touchscreen sensor of this computer is hardwired to a totally invisible COM 5 that absolutely does not show up anywhere. And so after, I say, 2 days of struggling with this, I finally moved my convention for distributing the GPS from COM 5 to COM 6, and now everything is working perfectly. But there is absolutely no mention anywhere in the documentation of the fact that there's a completely hidden, unchangeable COM 5 lurking in this operating system in a way that absolutely does not show to any utility. Anyhow, now that that's working, I have a picture here of the new stick computer, this ultra-compact PC, all set up and working as a mobile tracker, and I'll show it when it's my turn. WA8LMF, back to net.
Boy, that's crazy, Stephen. I too have been working on my sound card interface and using a bunch of the ideas that you gave me. And towards that end, I was able to get a freeware oscilloscope and tone generator for the computer, and have been monitoring the frequency response of the sound card and also the ALC on my radio, at least for the HF band. And yeah, it's nice to know what's going on. It isn't always that easy, but and I sympathize with your situation. That is nuts. Mystery COM 5. I've got an HP here that somehow I think is wacky because the mouse jumps. Just randomly, it'll jump across the screen, and I have struggled with trying to find where that's coming from. So, and I won't even want to get into all the stuff I've tried, but I've managed to minimize it, but not eliminate it. But at any rate, it is your turn, Stephen. Let's have an image.
Okay, let me get over here to TX. This will be PD120. And after I send the picture, I'll comment on what you're looking at. WA8LMF, PD120.
WA8LMF, and what you're seeing there at the top is hopefully you've blown this up to the full 640 by 480 display. At the top is the stick computer, which is a full-blown Windows PC running Windows 10. From left to right, the connectors at the top of the device, near the top of the picture. The leftmost one is 12-volt DC power going into a USB-C connector. Then the next one is a standard USB-A that GPS data is coming in from a USB GPS. The third one from the left is the connection to the sound card interface that you see at the bottom of the picture, which I'll comment on in a moment. And then the rightmost one is a USB-C connector that is feeding power and HDMI video to an external monitor, which is being powered entirely by the connection from this port. There's no separate power cord or wall wart for the monitor. Over on the right, that's the 4-conductor audio in and out connector. And then at the far left of the stick is a HDMI connector if I wanted to plug this into a TV or something as a display. At the bottom, what you're seeing is this nifty little sound card interface.
W8B.
Made in New Zealand. It's probably, in my opinion, the best sound card interface there is. It's at the right are the 4 little screw terminals let you connect any kind of audio cable to the radio that you want, just ad hoc. You don't have to solder up any connectors or plugs. This particular black cable, the other end is a usual 6-pin mini-DIN plug that goes into the data port on this radio. On the left side, you're seeing a USB-C connector that supplies the transmit and receive audio and also the operating power for this interface. At the right, there's a pair of little tiny trim pots that you can use to very precisely adjust the transmit and receive audio level, which the designer of this thing actually incorporated into it at my request. Anyhow, that is the sound card interface I was using, and right now this thing is sitting here on my table monitoring 40-meter appers over the Vera modem, and it's been running now non-stop for 2 days. I'm testing it. It's almost ready for its public release. So back to net control. This is WA8LMF.
Boy, that's a beauty, I tell you, Stephen. I'm waiting for my wife to give me my allowance so I can get one of these stick computers because you got me hooked. I'm especially impressed by this monitor plug, which carries power to a monitor. I guess I'm not familiar with ever having seen a monitor that can totally run without a wall wart or power, but just run from a connection to a PC. I'd be interested in knowing a little more about that one. Did you get that off Amazon too, Stephen?
Yes, I did. It's a relatively new development. Since the widespread adoption of USB-C, which can provide a lot more power out of a USB port. The traditional USB ports would only provide half an amp at 5 volts, or the bastardized standard that Apple created of 2 amps at 5 volts. But USB-C, you can deliver multiple amps of current out, so it suddenly has changed what it's practical to power off of a USB port. This thing also, this standard involves delivering 20
20 or 30 watts of power out the USB port, and a new video standard that's not exactly HDMI, but almost like DisplayPort. And this combination of video plus operating power, in turn, it means at the other end you've got to have a new breed monitor that's designed for this kind of USB-C hookup, which is what I'm using. I actually got it on a Prime Day special at Amazon last summer. It's a Chinese-made monitor called KYY. It's a 15.5-inch flat panel full HD monitor that's about a quarter-inch thick and can be powered off this kind of a combined video plus power USB-C port. And I say I've been using it with my laptop as a second screen for the laptop, but here I'm using it standalone as a display for the Abbers setup that's running on the stick PC. And this standard is beginning to spread now, but it's only been widespread for about 2 years.
Yeah, boy, I have not heard of it until just now, and it's very intriguing. I mean, why not? Why have a bunch of AC plugs all over the place for all my monitors? You know, plus with the new format OLED and LCD and what have you types of displays, I'm sure that they've reduced the power quite significantly on what it takes to run a monitor, and any other new formats that I'm not familiar with. So, wow. Cool stuff, Stephen. Charles, WD8 PBS, I think you might have left us, but how, your turn for a comment. Yeah, I think he had to go. W8RQS, Steve, a comment.
A nifty little outfit there, Stephen. And I instantly recognize the interface, and I'm jealous. I would like 2 of those surface mount isolation transformers. If you know the whereabouts of where I could get one or anything else. And the trim pots, yeah, we talked about that a long time ago. Matter of fact, we had some 10-turn. I got one 10-turn pot in one of my interfaces, which is, we'll just leave it nameless, but, but good job, Stephen. W8RQS.
Yeah, man, I tell you, those isolation transformers make all the difference in the world. I can tell you that by practical experience, Stephen. By the way, I tested a master's communication, and I was picking up all kinds of noise through that, and I switched back over to my signal link, and everything went dead quiet. And I'm glad it's got those new black transformers in it, because I measured the frequency response right up to about 4K and pretty accurately. So I'm going to stick with that. KF8CHS, Rob, a comment.
KF8CHS. I really like everything being put together and it works. Need to learn more about that. I think I foresee a tech night a couple months from now once we all get the components back to net.
Every night's a tech night. KF8, 8 p.m. Jason, a comment. Yeah, you sound different, Jason. Are you on Flex?
Yes, I am. I switched over. I was playing around, and I never switched it back. Yeah, great image. Looks like a fun little project you got going on there. KF8, 8 p.m. Back to net.
I might mention that what I plan to do, I'm going to present this thing at Dayton, the Vera track, average tracker. And what I plan to do is make an image of the entire hard disk load of this stick PC available as a 32 gig flash drive with a restore utility on the same flash drive. So you'll be able to load this entire setup that I've developed onto one of these off-the-shelf stick PCs and be ready to run in only about 15 minutes.
Well, you're going to have a lot of interest in that, Stephen, especially for, the interface with the GPS and the sound card and the stick PC and the monitor and man, that's a very sweet portable setup. Man, oh man, way to go! Nice work.
W8BCI repeater.
So my concept is that it's a multiple-use device. I have everything configured to boot and start automatically as soon as you power up the stick PC. You don't necessarily need the monitor if you're just going to use it as a mobile tracker for beaconing your location on 30 or 40 meter HF ABRs over Vera. All you need is the stick PC connected to the audio in and out of your radio. Provide it with 12 volt power and turn it on. And it'll boot and start up all 4 apps automatically. But if you want to use it as an actual fully functional station, then you can plug in the USB monitor and Bluetooth mouse, and it'll be ready to run as a shack computer.
Nice, especially since you got just 12 volts right there to run everything on. That's pretty handy.
Inspired by the Bionics Tiny Track for classic 1200 baud packet ABRs, which has been the simplest, cheapest solution to beaconing your position on APRS for 20-25 years now. It's a little tiny box based on a PIC microcontroller. Plug the GPS in one end, the audio comes out the other, and you power it off 12 volts, and it's good to go. And what I've done here is try to create the same immediate ease of use for doing APRS over Vera.
I like Vera. I think we're going to see a lot more of that now and going forward. I know I myself have dived into it, and I really like that protocol. I think we're going to see a lot more Vera activity.
I'm going to road test this flash up a week from yesterday when I drive up to the Traverse City Hamfest on the 7th, which is next Saturday for anyone that's interested. And that'll be the first road test of this setup. Actually, I don't even need the sound card interface. I could have taken the audio out of the stick and run it straight into the DIN port of the radio, but I needed a way to do PT key, push-to-talk keying for transmit. Some of my radios have a Vox function that works on the data port, and so all I would need would be the record and play audio through that 4-conductor jack. But the particular radio I'm going to use on the trip doesn't have the Vox on the data port, so I decided to cheat and use the external sound card interface, so I would get the full push-to-talk functionality.
Yep, makes sense. Plus, you got control over the volume on both transmit and receive there from that sound card. So, Yeah, I like that setup. Pretty nice, Steve. Stephen, you amaze me. All right, let's see. We're at the end of the list. I think it's my turn to send an image. I'm going to send a picture that I took last night on my way home from Ypsilanti in Ann Arbor. And I'm amazed I did it in the car, but it's a picture of the sunset. And after I send it, I'll explain why I liked it so much. So let's see, we'll set this up for PD, that's right, yeah, PD 120. I'm driving along and I see this, it's like this shaft of red light, and it's hard to capture from a picture here or even in the camera, but it was just shooting right out of the top of the sun there. You can sort of see a little evidence of it. So I'm driving and I'm holding my camera out the front window, and I'm sure I was going to get pulled over by the police if they ever saw me trying to do this. But it was just such an amazing looking picture. I had to try to get as much of it as I can. It was just an amazing column of red light, you know, going straight up into the sky from this sunset. So this is obviously, I was heading west along I-94 here, coming back to 27 there, take it north into Lansing. So there you go. Charles, I think you're gone. We'll mark you as checked out here. Steve, W8RQS, a comment.
That's an interesting image there. Came in just perfect here at my station, and I kind of like your audio. It's even lower than mine right now, I believe. So maybe Stephen will comment on your audio as well. But it was it's not real high like some of the stations were before. So good job, Rick. W8RQS.
Yeah, I don't recommend taking pictures off the front window while you're driving, but I just had to get this one, and I'm surprised it came through as well as it did. KFA CHS, Rob, a comment.
KFA CHS, yeah, that's a great shot, and I think you're right, it probably doesn't do it justice. I can only imagine how vivid that beam would be going straight up. It looks pretty cool. Anyway, back to net.
WHBCI repeater.
KFA APM, Jason, a comment.
KFA at 8 p.m. Yeah, nice image, Rick. It is pretty neat, that seeing that red or orange, I guess, whatever it is, coming straight up from that. Pretty neat. I'm glad you were able to capture that. KFA at 8 p.m. Back to that.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. Not at least that pronounced. I've seen it kind of raise in a lot of different directions, but it just seemed it was concentrated right straight up. So, really bizarre. WA8 LMF, Steven, comment.
This is WA8 LMF, and yeah, your audio level was down where it should be 3 to 4 dB lower than voice peaks, whereas the other stations have been slamming the limiter, and the audio is far louder than it needs to be. Anyhow, yeah, I copied this out of the receive window in MMSS TV and loaded it into View and then played around with gamma correction, and I think I've recreated what you were describing originally with the very obvious column, much closer to your original view.
Send it out, Stephen. I'd be interested in seeing it if you can.
Fiddle around then with getting this thing moved into yet another app before I can get it out and put it on the air, but maybe I'll save it for next week.
All right, sounds like a plan. Thanks for the report, too. And I think it's time for our picture slam, a bonus round. So with this, I'll state your call sign, and then you're free to have an explanation, or just go ahead and send a picture. And give you time to maybe pick one. I'll go first here. And this is an image that I've been wanting to share with Rob and Steve on boating. And this is an image of us going under, well, actually, we're approaching the Mackinac Bridge. And this is in our carver. We had a 32-foot carver, and we spent 2 weeks going all over Michigan in this boat with another couple who was in a, oh boy, the name escapes me. They were power boaters as well, but any rate, this is an image just approaching the Mackinac Bridge, and the waters are pretty rough between the two lakes, so I didn't have time to get one right underneath. I kind of wish I could have, but my wife wasn't real happy about steering. Got a little panicky, so I had to take the helm. Any rate, PD 120. W8RQS. Steve, your turn for an image. Wow, beautiful, beautiful photo there, Steve. Man, oh man. KFA CHS, Rob, an image.
KFA CHS. I'll stick with the boating theme, but with a twist. Scotty Chu when the repeater drops.
W8CCI repeater.
Like a good dinner to me. I'd say that was a walleye.
Nope, just a pike in the marina, off the dock.
All right, he got it. Jason, KF8, APM, an image.
KF8 APM. Oh, I love the picture of the bike. I'm going to send a picture here of the sunrise from this morning. I just snapped it real quick. So we will do Scotty 2 when the repeater drops.
pretty, really peaceful looking. Great, great image. Cold looking too. Looks cold, but still pretty. Stephen, WA8 LMF, your turn for an image.
This is WA8LMF. You're talking about grabbing a scenic on the fly while driving. Here's my response to that. This was last fall's road trip out to LA. This is the Capitol Reefs area of eastern Utah, where Interstate 70 goes through a spectacular gorge in a range of mountains that was actually a man-made. There was a slot canyon that a man could just barely squeeze through, and in the early 60s they blasted out 7 million tons of rock to open up a gorge wide enough for the interstate to fit through it. And this is one of the high points of that drive on I-70 when I go out to California. WA8LMF PD 120. Now that's the high-def version shot with the iPhone 14. I also was transmitting that live with the Mobile SSTV live cam as I was driving through this thing. I was transmitting it live on 15 meters SSTV.
That's beautiful. Rock formations are beautiful, and as many of you know, I'm a hobby rock hound, and I polish rocks for a hobby, and I just think they're beautiful. Just the formations and the colors and the strata that you see. Man, oh man! Anyway, what marvelous views our Earth holds, you know. Just haven't got time to see them all, I guess. But all right, guys. Well, it's time to put the ribbon on it. So we'll go through and we'll do the 7-3 round. Charles, I got you checked out here. But if you're listening, thanks for checking in, and hopefully we'll catch you next Sunday. Steve, W8RQS, 7-3 round.
W8RQS. Well, you guys were looking for a tree in the rocks in Utah, so that's what I sent you. That was just outside Zion National Park. Outside the park, you can see all kinds of things along the road. Matter of fact, a lot of my shots are on the road to go somewhere great. And that's it for me. Hey, had a great time on the net tonight, and look forward to next week. And we may have next week we may have a new ham. Well, not a new ham, but an old ham joining us. So I'm going to look forward to that. W8RQS.
W8CCI repeater.
You know, like Bob always says, there's always room for one more. So thanks for checking in with us tonight, Steve. Good to hear you, and great pictures. You take care and stay warm. KF8CHS, Rob, 7-3 round.
KF8CHS, awesome net as usual. It seems like every week I walk away with a little more knowledge in my brain. Anyways, everyone have a good week. 73, back to net.
Well, thanks for checking in. Good you do that, Rob. There's always room for a little more knowledge. Just when you think you've got enough, something else comes along you don't know. So you take care. Good luck on that FT8 and in your contacts. I think 10 is still open occasionally. So, yeah, go for it. Stay safe and stay warm. KF8, 8 p.m., Jason, 7-3 round.
This is KF8, 8 p.m. Thanks for running the net tonight, Rick. You did a great job with it, like always, and thanks everybody for sharing the pictures. There was some good pictures tonight. Lots of fun. I don't think we had too many technical issues, so we did pretty good on that, and yeah, look forward to the next one. So, guess everybody stay safe, stay warm, and hopefully it'll be, get some more sunshine. I like those sunny days like we got today. They're nice, especially in the middle of winter like this. So, with that, 73, and KF8, 8 p.m., back to net.
You tell Matt and Jack, hey, and you and your wife have try to stay warm and stay safe there, Jason. Thanks for checking in with us tonight. And man, you were good on Simplex. I can't believe you were barreling in here. We got a good connection there. So that was an interesting test. So take care. WA8 LMF Steven, 7-3 round.
This is WA8 LMF, and as I mentioned, don't forget the Traverse City Ham Fest this coming Saturday. So details of it are on my website, on my APRS tracking page for the special events, wa8lmf.net/map. And then there's a link there for special events, and if you click that, you'll see all the details of the venue and how to get there. Oh, I think that's it for tonight, WA8LMF.
Perfect. Thank you, Stephen, and thanks for that info on Traverse City. It'd be worthwhile to get up there, I tell you. Take your pocketbook with you. And thanks for checking in tonight, Stephen. It's always good to hear you and have your expertise there available. Appreciate that. You stay safe, and good luck on your travels and your record cleaning there too. So I think with that, we'll say good evening to all, and thanks to everyone who took part tonight in Carl's Central Michigan Slow Scan TV Net, and I want to invite all of you back for next week's session. We'd also like to thank LCDRA for their support and maintenance of this and the other Lansing area repeaters. I will now return this repeater to normal amateur radio use. This is Rick, KC8, LOQ. wishing you 7375 and catch you down the log.
WA8LMF, W8RQS.
Yeah, here's WA8LMF.
I've got an image if you've got one.
Just a second here, let me restart the... I was just shutting down the VNC terminal that was remotely operating the computers that I use for ham stuff. So let me restart the Toughbook number 2 once again.
Stephen, did you get my first picture?
Yes, I did. Waiting for the Toughbook to reboot. I had just shut it down. Now I'm restarting it.
Very good. I just figured you might have a little extra time. And it's always fun to send a few images.
We're back up and running now with the Toughbook number 2, which is the one over on the very right side of my table. You've seen it. So I'm ready to receive.
Okay, I'm going to send you another one from the Navajo Indian Reservation.
Okay, go ahead, shoot. recognize it. I've driven past that exact point a couple of times over the last several years.
It's an interesting formation, and the Indians kind of stop there with their car and put up tables and stuff. Do you know the name of this image?
No, I can't remember what it is, but I know I've seen it driving through there. By the way, your audio level for the video is a little hot. It's pairing at the deviation limiter.
I know. It's almost crazy that I'm the one with high audio now. Well, I can control it, Stephen. I'll drop her down. Hey, this is called elephant feet. And I didn't even know it had a name. I just stopped and took a bunch of pictures of it. And we had just come through a rainstorm, and the clouds in the back were, kind of ominous, and it made it look pretty darn neat, really. I've had a lot of comments on this, so it's after I got back home and did a little research, I found out it's called elephant feet, and it sure does look like the feet of two elephants, or two elephants' feet or something there. So thought that was cool.
Okay. So, when were you there? How long ago was this taken?
I was taken in 2008, I believe.
Okay. The first time I drove through Navajo country was only about 4 years ago, and I've now been using that as an alternative to my usual routing from here to the West Coast, which normally is I-80 and then I-70 through Colorado and Utah, and then 15 down to L.A. But sometimes now I go down through southern Colorado and through the Four Corners region and across U.S. 421, which surprised me, was a high-speed 4-lane divided highway crossing the Navajo Nation, and just as fast as the interstates.
I think this, I'm trying to recall, like you asked me last time where the other one was. I'm pretty sure this is near Cayente.
Yeah, okay. I'm already thinking about this year's summer trips. The usual annual trek to Evergreen the last week of July for the Jazz Festival, and then there's going to be another Martini in the Morning fan gathering of some sort in L.A. at the end of September. It's going to be a celebration of the 20th anniversary of that internet stream. We're going to have some kind of a big blowout in L.A., but we don't yet know what.
I'm sure you'll gear up for that and have fun good driving out there. Yeah, I went up. I did make it to Zion National Park too, so that was part of the craziness of getting out there.
The last time I was in Zion was about 15 years ago with my mother. On one of the road trips I took her around the West on. All her life she was an inveterate world traveler and went on 2 or 3 trips a year, but always to Europe or Asia. She had never toured the U.S., and after she got too old to deal with air travel and schlepping baggage through airports and stuff, I started taking her on road trips inside the U.S. And did quite a few of them the last 10 years of her life or so.
Yeah, okay. Well, I bet she enjoyed that. I mean, being a tourist in your own country, we've got a lot of scenery right here in the USA. You want to take a turn and send one, or I've got another one. I got one up, keyed up right now of Zion.
Okay, go ahead and shoot. I'll dig one out here.
W8RQS.
At RQS, WA811. I was struggling to paste a picture. I hadn't realized it was a 16:9 format and getting really distorted when I pasted it into MMSS TV. But yeah, okay, so where was this one?
This is inside Zion National Park. I think it's referred to as the Three Patriarchs.
Didn't even recognize it as Zion. It didn't seem to be as screamingly loud red as I associate with Zion.
There's a lot of colors there. There's some stuff that's white, some stuff that's kind of, blood red coming down, and there's all sorts of colors in Zion. Take it you've been there?
As I say, I took my mother there on one of these road trips in her later years. That was about 15 years ago.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I remember now. Okay, are you ready, or you want to pick a different image or something?
Yeah, I'm ready to go here. This is from last year on the trip to LA. This is in Las Vegas. Have you heard about the Sphere, this new mega venue in Las Vegas?
I've heard about it. I've seen it, not in person, but I've seen what they do with it, and yeah, it's kind of fantastic. I'd like to see it in person sometime, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, both the inside and the outside of it are continuous full-color, high-resolution LED display. There's something like 3 billion LEDs covering this thing. And the inside, of course, they use to project wraparound shows, but the outside is continuously running various video animations day and night. I passed through Vegas about 7 in the evening on the way to LA, and at this point, the outside of the Sphere was projecting an image of the planet Jupiter. The whole outside of the dome was a video of the planet Jupiter, and you even see its moons passing by. The thing has become a mega attraction that's visible miles away from the venue. When you approach Vegas from almost any direction now, at night you see this thing as the dominant feature on the skyline of Las Vegas now. Anyway, this is a shot of the Sphere last fall, running this animation of the planet Jupiter on the outside. Once again, PD-120.
That almost looks like the planet Jupiter sitting right there on the ground.
Came through, it was about the third week of October, and it was alternating between these images of the planets. They had Jupiter and Mars and Saturn. Although Saturn doesn't come off so well because there's no way to protect the rings outside the sphere. But Mars and Jupiter and occasionally the moon they show. But also because it was only a couple weeks before Halloween, they were projecting jack-o'-lanterns, round pumpkins, with a sign scrolling across it saying "Sphere of Fear," and alternating between different pumpkin carvings on the outside.
That's interesting. That's pretty versatile with what they can do for it here. Well, I got another image from Zion. This one is. I'll show you some of the different colors of Zion, I guess.
WHBCI repeater.
Un-Zion-like is just gray, but I expect Zion to be really loud colors.
This is called the Great White Throne. Yeah, there's a lot of colors in Zion. I camped there at a campground right outside Zion. I think maybe it was actually inside Zion. But yeah, I camped there. We took a bus and did a tour around through there. And you could get off the bus any place you wanted and walk around and stuff. But then when the bus came around, they just continually came around with the bus. You know, there's a lot of tourists in there. So I wandered around and looked at stuff and took pictures and just enjoyed it. It's I really would go back to Zion, you know, in a heartbeat.
Spent about a day there when I was taking my mother on this western road trip. I've never camped anywhere near there, but I only spent about a day there. Went out from St. George and then came back to St. George in the evening. anyhow, that's, yeah, I guess I do recall there's a main route into there that goes into the, oh, wait a minute, am I getting, or do I have Zion mixed up with the other park that's farther north? I can't remember now. Anyhow, this one is appropriate for next Saturday. This is my swap meet setup at the Traverse City swap meet from last year. They hold the swap meet now in a Veterans of Foreign Wars auditorium that's on the south side of Traverse City. And I was a seller, as I always am when I go to these events. And this is the setup. I was lucky enough to get a table at the back of the room that was directly opposite an actual projection screen. So I set up my projector, firing it on their screen from my table. And what you're seeing in this is a kind of a unique monopod projector stand. It's a telescoping mast with a C-clamp on the bottom that'll clamp around a tabletop. And the top of it has a quarter 24 thread on it that you can screw into a camera or a projector. And instead of having a tripod with legs sticking out into the floor traffic for people to trip over, it's all neatly self-contained right on the tabletop. I've used it a number of times now for presentations at radio clubs on various topics. But the whole thing telescopes down to about 18 inches and stows neatly in the trunk of the car. Okay, here we go. This is PD-120 after the repeater resets. Okay, I got it. Good image. So you're actually gonna do radio testing there, radio testing and checkout, plus what else? Or you're just gonna display your new tracker there? Probably the tracker won't make an appearance at this event at all. This is just a swap meet, not a general ham fest with lectures. Radio tests. I take my IFR monitor, service monitor now, and I offer checkouts on the spot, which is actually a useful service to have at a ham fest. If somebody's going to buy a used radio of unknown provenance, to be able to test it and verify that it actually works and has the rated power and sensitivity and frequency calibration and such is actually useful. So I've been doing that along with the main product, which is selling the ham software flash drives, my software mega pack on 32 gig flash drives, which is the main product I sell. The computer that's sitting there is one of these old computers that I do a fresh build on and then sell as a ready-to-run ham workstation with a ton of common ham software, including MMSSTV, already preloaded and ready to run. And I sell these as turnkey ham workstations.
Where do you pick those up, and what kind of what kind of computers are those? They're just random computers?
A lot of them I got as hand-me-downs after I had done installations for newer systems at a couple of offices in L.A., an architect's firm and an accounting firm. And when I would set them up with new computers, they had these old ones that they really had no use for, and they were happy to have me just take them away. And then I wipe the hard drive clean and do a clean, fresh build of... In fact, I'm about to do the same thing with a stack of 4 horizontal desktop Lenovo's that were sort of office workstation computers, not consumer retail. And I'm about to redo all of those with Windows 10 as ham workstations, and I'll start peddling those at this year's Hamfest season.
W8BCI repeater.
I've got a question about Windows 10, separate versions of it. The latest version, for some reason, will not show the metadata from my digital camera. It's just gone. And the latest version of Windows 10 also doesn't have the same picture viewer as version 1511, which is an earlier version that has the old picture viewer. So I've got the newer version, and I was thinking that would be a good install on some of these laptops that I get from MSU. But I'm perplexed at why these things have disappeared. And let me break here for a second. I finally searched on the internet and found out what I did is I downloaded a little program that automatically edited registry files. It automatically registered the registry files and put the picture viewer from the previous version of Windows 10 back in it. But now I'm thinking, should I just try to do that with Windows 11 and also try to restore the metadata that is deleted? Not deleted, but it just doesn't recognize it anymore.
It's not deleting it. It's still in the header of each file. It's just that they chose to not show it in their programs. But I've never used those junky utilities that come supplied with Windows. As far as I'm concerned, the gold standard for viewing, editing, file format converting pictures is the indispensable IrfanView, which is on my Megapack. It'll open virtually any picture file format known to man, and in turn you can save it to any other format that you want. It not only reveals the metadata, if your phone stamps the picture header, the so-called EXIF, Extended Information Header, inside the picture with GPS information, which most modern phones do now, IrfanView will even not just show you the coordinates, it gives you a link to click through that will take that coordinate and plot it on Google Maps so you can see instantly where the picture was taken.
That's fantastic. I better get a copy of that and try using that. That works okay on Windows 11 as well?
Yeah, if you choose to be enough of a masochist to actually want to use Windows 11, which I'm doing everything possible to avoid because of the just incredibly invasive spying and telemetry and pressure to upgrade being foisted on you in 11, this endless pressure to quit using local storage and save everything on Microsoft OneDrive so you can then pay them to rent space on OneDrive. And they want to force you into a neutered version of Microsoft Office that runs off the internet instead of your disk. And again, you rent by the month. And, for example, I don't use the Edge browser, but I keep setting the defaults to use IrfanView for images and Firefox for web browsing. And about once every week or two, Microsoft tries to download an update for their Edge browser, and they don't just download the update, then they undo your default settings and force it back to Edge, and then I have to undo it again. I expended a lot of effort on my Windows 10 installs to neuter all of this high-pressure coercive marketing by Microsoft. There's some of it I'm using the last and final version of 10, 22H2, but have effectively neutered it after I discovered that in the Windows scheduler, no less, there's a routine there that's supposed to command Edge to go on the internet and download updates and reset your defaults once a week.
That's why my machine is quarantined from the internet. The one I'm using right here does never is it going to go on the internet. So a lot of those problems, I can avoid by not going on the internet and by running the version 15.11. Then I've got the metadata and the picture viewer and the stuff that I like. But I'm definitely going to take a look at IrfanView there and see how that would maybe that would work out. But I don't know. I'm just going to stick with 15.11 version.
Irfan himself is a Bosnian. He was a Bosnian student at the University of Vienna in Austria, and the original version of IrfanView about 25 years ago was a programming project in his class, and put it on the internet, and the thing just took off. And he's made a point of continued, even today, it's still in active development, and every time some new goofball file format comes out, he will update IrfanView to handle it. I actually got a couple of weird ones about 20 years ago, and I emailed copies of the files to him, And to my astonishment, in less than a week, he emailed me a beta version of the next release of OrphanView that had incorporated those file formats. As I say, it's the Swiss Army knife of graphics utilities.
Well, now I got another thing on my list of things to do. So I'll get on top of that, and I'm going to go ahead and drop my audio level down. I'm really happy that I feel it like this. I'm happy that my audio is now the highest audio because we've been talking about this for years and years with Carl and everybody else, but they're finally now dropping that audio level.
Okay. Anyway, no, I have the VeriTrack stick computer. Is a Windows 10 build, but I've got to be able to expose it to the internet if I want it to be able to act as a iGate, internet gateway for ABRA's transmissions received. And so I did a lot of work on neutering it. Again, the Swiss Army knife of mods and tweaks for both 10 and 11 is this thing called WinArrow Tweaker from a website of the same name. The thing has an enormous scrollable list of options you can make, and among them is the ability to bring back a lot of the classic versions of things like the picture viewer and the media player and the volume control mixer and all that were on previous versions. WinArrow Tweaker will let you reactivate. It turns out they're all hidden in late 10 and 11, and it doesn't, if you know the magic strokes in the registry, it doesn't take anything to bring them back. And WinArrow Tweaker is the way to do that. It offers you changes for over 200 items in a single program.
WHBCI repeater.
Okay, Stephen. Now that's another thing on my list of things to do, I guess. But I am running Windows Tiny 11 on another machine, so maybe I'll see if I can, get that kind of straightened out, so it could go online. Maybe does all these downloads bother Tiny 11, or is it kind of exempt from them?
Oh no, it'll work on them, but for the most part you won't need to, because the developer that worked over 11 and created Tiny 11, who was actually a Microsoft programmer that worked on the original version of Windows NT, which is the version of Windows from which the Windows 2000 XP and beyond series was derived. So he knows the system level of Windows intimately, and he very effectively stripped out all the crud in Windows 11. Tiny 11 is 1/3 the size, as you know, and he also removed a lot of these obnoxious phone home telemetry functions that are in the official versions. But there are still a few things that you can fiddle with, and I've tried it on my Tiny 11 setups, and WinArrow Tweaker does let you change stuff in Tiny 11 as well as the full-size version.
Well, you got me interested in another project then, I guess. So, well, I think I'm going to call it quits for tonight, Stephen. I got some projects to do tomorrow. Hey, Clyde called me. Let's see what day is. This is. I don't know. He called me earlier this week, and he's interested in getting back on slow scan again. So I'm taking him over an elderly version of Windows on an old laptop, and taking him some cables and everything he needs. He's got a kind of a QRP radio, but he's got a heck of a good antenna over there. So I'm looking forward to him getting on slow scan again sometime maybe by next Sunday.
Is he located? No, I thought he was somewhere down around Jackson.
No, he moved up on Skinner Road there. You know where DQQ used to be, or still is?
No.
He's in range. He's not that far. He's near Diamonddale.
Okay, so he's back in effect in the greater Lansing area now, not the greater Jackson area. Okay. Well, we'll see if he can hit the repeater. By the way, I guess it's way overdue. This is WA8 LMF.
This is W8 RQS, transmitting from Clinton County.
That last picture, that slide on the screen that says radio tests, that's actually a looping video of still pictures that I run on the laptop, and it flashes 6 different messages, each one lingering on the screen for about 15 seconds, and it's just a constant rotation between the radio tests, the flash drive mega pack, and the ham workstations for sale.
That sounds like it works out well. Are you going to use this? Let's see. Are you going to use this in Traverse City swap meet there?
Oh yeah, this is the venue at Traverse City from last year, and I'll hopefully be in the same place this year.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to let you go, Stephen. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you staying up late and your information on Earth and View and stuff there. But I'm going to have to get to bed because I got to get up kind of early tomorrow and got some projects to do. I'm working on the snow blower on my small John Deere tractor. And that's kind of essential to keep things cleared out around here from the house to the pole barn and the north driveway and the south driveway and everything. So I've got to go and work on that a little bit tomorrow, and I'm going to drop that stuff off for Clyde. So W8RQS.
Okay, this is WA8 LMF. No, I'm not staying up late. This is early. I mean, usually I turn in about 1 or 1:30 after the late show with Colbert is over. But so I consider this early in the evening still.
I've been getting up like 6 a.m. So I guess that's early for me and late for you or whatever. But yeah, I try to get 8 hours of sleep.
No, normally if I don't have any reason to, I seldom get up before about 8:30 or 9. It depends on how persistent my cat is in dragging me out of bed to get fed. But no, these Hamfest things are. I have to get up outrageously early. It's the only time that I get up before 8:30 or so. What my sister always refers to when she gets up for the farmer's market as "Oh God 30" in the morning.
I get you. You're making me chuckle here. Yeah. That cat. You know where my cat lives? My cat lives out in the barn. He's Barney the barn cat. But he's got a box out there with straw in it, and it's got an insulated pad underneath that, and then I've got a piece of Carhartt jacket that's kind of got some insulation in it. So he just sits out there in that little box and stays warm. He's out of the wind, and he's a barn cat. So anyway, then he gets up kind of early and goes over and sits in the sun.
Cat hasn't been out of this house since he came here as a 10-week-old kitten about 12 years ago, so he doesn't know what outdoor weather is like.
Well, Barney knows what outdoor weather is like. Matter of fact, when the snow was really deep, he couldn't walk through the snow, so he's been held up in the barn for the winter, I guess. But I go out and feed him every morning.
W8BBI repeater.
Anyway, I'll let you go, since you seem to have to get up much more outrageously early than I do. So this will be WA8LMF clear, and we'll be listening for a while, but I guess finish with the slow scan for tonight.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Sometimes I just like to send a few extra pictures. Boy, I sent more back and forth with you than I did on the net. But I'm going to say 73. So thanks for playing radio with me tonight. WA8LMF, W8RQS. I'll be clear.
CQ, KF8, FNT, calling CQ.
Was that? This is WA8LMF.
This is Kilo Foxtrot 8, Foxtrot November Papa. Can you repeat your station?
Okay, this is Stephen. I'm located in Hazlitt, about 4.5 miles northeast of downtown East Lansing. Where are you?
I'm in Lansing, right off the intersection of Jolly and Waverly, if you know the place. I just got a new radio today and had it on for a bit tonight. Heard some people talking.
Oh, okay. Did you turn it on early enough to hear the slow scan TV net?
I think that must have been what I heard earlier.
An official organized net that starts at 8 and usually breaks up about 9:30, 9:45. Then two of us hung on after the formal net, and it was just the two of us. We're both Steve's, W8RQS and myself, and we were just running pictures back and forth between the two of us after the net.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm just getting new into the hobby. Just got my technician license about a month ago, and someone was selling this radio used, so I'm pretty excited to get into it.
So what are you using as a radio?
This is a Wushan, I don't even know how it's pronounced, KG210H.
Okay, more Chinese radios. This is a Chinese knockoff of the Japanese Yaesu FT8900 quad bander. It's 10, 6, 2, and 450 in a single box. And they say this is a Chinese clone of the Yaesu 8900.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot. I've heard Yaesu a lot. My first one was a Baofeng UV5R. It was enough to get me started, but this one seems like it's a bit of a jump up.
You know, I've got a couple of the lotions here. I'm trying to remember the number on it. Anyhow, I've had them for probably 4 or 5 years. You know, before the Chinese flooded the ham market with cheap radios, the big 3 manufacturers were Japanese, Kenwood, Yaesu, and ICOM. And they pretty much dominated the ham field until the Chinese arrived in force about 5 years ago.
Yeah, I was talking about the person I bought it from. I kind of figured there might be some American producers, but it sounds like they're all Japan or China.
Ironic is almost all of the Japanese brands are now made in China as well. There's a couple of niche manufacturers that make expensive high-end HF gear that are still American, but about 95% of the ham market is now dominated by Japanese and Chinese brands, and about 90% of all of them are made in China, no matter what the brand. The latest thing of this type that really shocked me that I saw in a tech news story last week is that one of the biggest names in TV, Sony has now decided to basically get out of the TV manufacturing business, and they're now outsourcing the manufacture of Sony TVs to the huge mass Chinese manufacturer TCL. So Sony's are now going to be rebranded TCL units.
Oh yeah, unfortunately it sounds like a lot of our manufacturing is going overseas.
Even the overseas manufacturing is being outsourced to China now because of course Sony was a Japanese company since forever. And now they've decided that the consumer TV market is so brutally competitive that it's not economic to manufacture these things in Japan or even Taiwan, and they're now outsourcing it to this brand TCL, which are the low-cost big TVs that you see in places like Walmart and Target and Costco. And now they're going to be making Sony's TVs as well.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate to see. So I guess tell me, do you, where can I get some contacts in the area? Like I said, I only got my license about a month ago, so I don't really even know where I could catch people on repeaters or anything.
Not sure what you're asking.
I guess I'm just wondering if there's activity on many repeaters, certain times of the day, or it sounds like there's some scheduled nests that I might have missed on, so just curious where I might be able to get in contact with people.
There's nowhere near as much activity as there was a few years ago, but there's the Slowscan TV net on Sundays, and there's a general net on Wednesday evenings. Supposedly it's a technical information and advisory net, but it sort of rambles over almost any topic. And I'm not sure what else is actually actively organized. You hear a few people during drive time, of course, when they're commuting. So in the morning hours, 7 to 8, and in the afternoon hours, about 4 to 6, you'll occasionally hear a few mobiles on.
Yeah, that was my next step. I was thinking of getting one of the mobile setups. Those seem kind of neat. Sounds like you can get a lot more contact distance with those.
W8BCI repeater.
Do many of the clubs get much activity? I see there was a Central Michigan Amateur Radio Club.
Yeah, I haven't had much to do with it in recent years. Theoretically, there's two clubs in the area, the MSU ARC and also the Central Michigan Club, but both of them, as far as I can tell, are fairly moribund at the moment, especially the MSU one, which is effectively dead. The club I'm more connected with, actually, is the one in Traverse City, which is a very lively organization that has a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, really? Is there a repeater or something you're able to access?
From here, their main repeater, 146.835, has echo link function on it, and so I remotely access their repeater over the internet from down here in the Lansing area, but I drive up there fairly frequently. The next time will be this coming Saturday for their annual swap and shop, which will be on the 7th of February in Traverse City. So I'll get up at about 4:30 in the morning and drive up there for the swap meet where I sell stuff.
4:30 in the morning. That's bright and early for me.
Normally during the decent weather season of the year, when there's a lot of ham swap meets outdoors, I go to a lot of them around the state and nearby, like in northern Ohio and such. And I have several items that I sell at swap meets. One is the WA8 LMF ham software Mega Pack, which is a 32 gig flash drive packed with ham radio related software, instruction manuals, useful utilities, charts and diagrams. There are over 3,000 files on the drive, and I sell that at swap meets. $15 for a 32 gig flash drive packed with ham-related stuff. And the other is that I take a communication service monitor with me, and I offer radio tests and checkouts at swap meets. So that if someone wants to buy a second-hand radio of unknown provenance, I can test it right on the spot and verify the receiver sensitivity and power output and frequency calibration and such on the spot at the Hamfest. And usually I hit about a dozen Hamfests during the Hamfest season, which starts in early May and goes through about October.
it definitely sounds like there's a lot of stuff you can do in the ham hobby. 'Cause I only recently started learning this stuff. Yeah, all the stuff with parks on the air and all these different contests and learning about the satellites is kind of just blowing my mind.
Biggest event of the Hamfest travel season is the world's largest Hamfest anywhere, which is the Dayton, Ohio Hamvention, which always takes place about the third weekend of May. And I am actually an exhibitor at Dayton each year. But that is huge. Over its 2.5-day run, normally about 30,000 people show up.
Yeah, I think I heard of that when I got my exam taken. The VEs were talking about their planning their trip out to Dayton for the swap and ham convention.
What's called the Dayton Hamvention is actually not in Dayton at all, but in the fairgrounds of the neighboring Greene County in Xenia, Ohio. There are three major parts to it. The manufacturers' exhibits, which are like a commercial trade show, big displays and fancy fixtures and such. And then the world's biggest swap meet, which is held in the infield of the racetrack at the fairgrounds. And then the third part of it is the various seminars and forums and lectures that are given in the multiple conference rooms that are on the fairgrounds. It starts Friday at 9 and runs basically through Saturday at 5. There's a small number of things still happening on Sunday, but most of the people are gone by Sunday. Anyway, there's a fourth show that's part of the Hamvention, and that's the Emergency Communications Vehicles Expo, which shows a bunch of trailers and vans that have been outfitted as communication centers and emergency operation centers. And I exhibit there with what I call my micro EOC, which is a 12-foot A-liner folding camper, hardwall folding camper, crammed with radios and electronics and computers that I call my combination mobile ham shack, micro emergency operations center, radio test lab, and I have a QRP AM stereo, FM stereo broadcast station in it as well. This summer, this May, will be the 4th year that what I call Studio B, this A-liner trailer, will appear at Dayton.
Yeah, I've seen some of that kind of stuff, especially on YouTube. Kind of blows my mind you can do all that, but especially out with the emergency preparedness. Just seems super cool.
Anyhow, this year will be the 4th year for the Studio B, and I also will be delivering a lecture, one of the forums, our presentation in one of the lecture halls on one of my new tracker devices that I just finished building and testing.
Oh yeah, you built it? So was that like designing everything, making a PCB and all of that?
PCB. What this is, for about 20 years in APRS, the Automatic Packet Reporting System, which is vehicle position tracking primarily, there's been a very inexpensive gadget, the Bionics Tiny Track, which is a little tiny gizmo based on a PIC microcontroller. You plug a GPS receiver into one end, and data tones that come out the other end that you can feed directly into a transceiver to transmit your position over the air. It's about a $45 gadget. Very simple and basic, no receive, just transmit, beaconing your position every few minutes. Anyway, I've taken a new twist on the tiny track, and what I've done...
WHBCI repeater.
I'm trying to use, instead of conventional packet data transmission, a radically new form of error-free data transmission over radio called VERA, V-A-R-A. It was written by a Spanish ham and professional communications engineer. VERA has an incredible ability to work on really noisy channels with signals that are literally so weak that you can't even hear them in the speaker and still get a reliable signal through. Anyway, the problem is that this VERA software modem is just that. It's software, Windows software that runs on a normal Windows PC. There is no simple, tiny, basic hardware device like a tiny track that can do VERA, but I've taken the next best step. Are you aware of these tiny little x86 PCs that are called stick PCs?
No, I don't think I've ever heard of those, just stick PCs. I know the x86 though.
A little black plastic block about 2 inches wide by about 5 inches long and about half an inch thick that contains a complete, full-blown Windows PC compressed into a really tiny form factor. They're used a lot to drive the menu boards above the counter in places like McDonald's, where the menus are all 42-inch TVs being driven by HDMI video. These stick computers, which have an HDMI male plug on one end, you shove them directly into an HDMI port on a TV or monitor, and you have a working electronic signboard display system. But it actually is a full-blown PC. It runs Windows 10 or 11. It's the one I have here on the table in front of me. It has a 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of virtual hard drive in flash memory, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Ethernet, a sound system with audio both in and out, and the HDMI port that you use to plug it into a monitor. It has 2 USB-C ports and 2 USB-A ports, and the thing runs on 12 volts DC, so it's a natural for ham applications in the mobile because it runs directly on 12 volts.
I never thought about that. That does sound really convenient. Sounds like a lot of power, just a little big PC there.
Yeah, this one has a quad-core Celeron processor running at 2 gigs, and it draws about half an amp at 12 volts, in other words, about 6 watts. Anyway, what I've done is loaded this thing with all of the desktop software that I would normally use to run VERA and a mapping application for APRS, all configured so that all the stuff starts up and auto-runs at boot. So once the thing is configured, I don't need to have a keyboard or a monitor. You just plug a GPS receiver into one of the USB ports, connect the sound system to transmit audio on a radio, and power the thing up, and it'll automatically start up and start sending a beacon every 5 minutes. I call it the VERA track in reference to the Bionics Tiny Track device. This is the VERA track, and I have developed a software image of the entire load that I'm going to be packaging on a 32 gig flash drive, including a restore utility that will allow you to overwrite whatever was on the stick computer originally with this complete image of my setup from the flash drive. And I'm going to be presenting this whole concept at Dayton this year.
Sounds really exciting. Do you think that's something you would sell? You would buy some of those big PCs and flash the image on there and resell them?
What I plan to do is put the image file on my website, wa8lmf.net, and also offer the image in physical flash drives, just the way I do with the software Megapack at Hamfest and Radio Club meetings. So if you want to download the ISO, it'll be on my website. But if you want a physical drive ready to run to install on a stick, I'll have those available for 10 or 15 bucks.
Oh yeah, for just 10 or 15, that sounds like quite a steal.
Yeah, because everything on here is either open source or free ham software. I'm not trying to make a profit reselling software, just a simplified way of getting this thing loaded onto a stick computer.
That makes sense. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. I hope you have fun down there in Dayton.
I'm playing with the layout of the stick computer for about the last week and a half. And now I have what seems to be pretty much a final configuration. And the next test is going to be next Saturday when I drive up to Traverse City and back. I am going to be field testing this setup, beaconing on 40 meters APRS from the Mobile as I drive up there and come back.
Gotcha. So do you usually make it down there every year?
Up there, it's about 170 miles northwest of the Lansing area. Yeah, and for a couple of other events. I go up there several times a year. They have I've been to their field day the last couple of years, and the club has a picnic on the shores of Lake Michigan on the East Fork of Grand Traverse Bay every year, and I usually go up to that. I've actually done now 3 presentations for their regular evening club meetings at different times. I've done presentations on various radio topics, so I've been up there quite a lot.
Well, that sounds cool. Maybe I'll have to make this my first year to get up there.
Anyway, as I say, I think I've got the final configuration of the Veritrack here, but I'm going to take it on the road and give it its first field test this coming week. And after that, then I'll probably freeze the design and image my stick and have it on the website as an ISO probably in a week or two.
W8CCI repeater.
Well, I need to be getting to bed pretty soon here. Start work pretty early in the morning. But I was curious if you do much HF work. I've heard that's where most of the people are nowadays.
Well, I don't know about most people. Actually, I think there are more people on VHF, UHF than on HF. hopefully, given that the total bandwidth of all the HF bands is less than 2 meters alone. But yeah, I do operate HF. Most of my activity is non-voice, digital modes. I run APR's internet gateways. When people transmit position reports on APR's APRS, most of the time, sometimes people are picking them up directly with another radio, but most of the time, people transmit position reports on the radio in the hope that a fixed station will hear them, pick up the signal, decode it, and pass it on to the internet, where a system of servers allows you to view these position reports on maps without even having to have a radio. What they call I-gates, internet gateways. And I operate 4 I-gates here at the house. The most common one on 2 meters, 144.39, which is the national APRS frequency all over North America. One on 145, 145, what is it now, 825, which is the downlink of the APRS trackers that's on the International Space Station. I'm monitoring that, and when it's within range, I'm passing its reports to the internet. And then I've got 2 more, one on 30 meters HF and one on 40 meters HF. And those run monitoring the different frequencies 24/7, passing whatever they hear to the internet. If you go to wa8lmf.net/map, you will see the gateway page to mapping displays for all of these systems on the different bands.
Yeah, I pull up your website here. Looks like you've got quite some setup. A lot of the stuff I don't even know about.
The other thing I do is HF Mobile, and specifically I do live slow scan TV with I have a webcam pointed out the front window of the car, and I grab still frames and transmit them as slow scan TV on HF when I'm on cross-country road trips, especially once I get to Denver and the interesting western scenery starts. I run the live cam, as I call it, the mobile SSTV live cam, almost constantly on either 15 or 10 meters.
Yeah, that sounds cool. That reminds me, I want to try getting into some of the satellite stuff. Sounds like you pick up some satellites with just the Yagi antenna. What are those satellite trackers?
The problem is that for low Earth orbit satellites, which is most of them, they appear above the horizon, across your field of view, and disappear over the opposite horizon in only a few minutes. The longest the pass will ever be is about 8 to 10 minutes. The space station, same thing. It has both voice and data radios, and occasionally they transmit slow scan from the space station. But again, the challenge is that it's only above your local horizon for on the most favorable possible pass when it goes directly overhead and doesn't just graze the horizon on one side of about 8 minutes. So it tends to sometimes sound like a contest pile-up with about 10 people at the same time trying to make a contact. But no, I've done very little with satellites other than I monitor the space station digipeater for packet, and whatever I hear from it I pass to the internet. But most of my stuff has been terrestrial and a lot mobile.
Okay, well that makes sense. Well, you. You're my first contact on radio, so I need to be getting to bed pretty soon here.
Okay. Anyway, if you check out the 40-meter mapping web server for Vera that's on the gateway page there, this coming Saturday you should be able to see my VeraTrack tracker showing up on the map as I drive up 127 and then 115 toward Traverse City.
The APRS location data you were talking about?
Because the VeraTracker will be keying up a 40-meter rig in my car and transmitting a position report from its GPS about every 5 minutes as I drive. And in turn, a signal once transmitted, if it's successfully heard by an iGate station, a station that passes the traffic to the internet, within about, at the most, about 20 seconds of the transmission, it should show up on the map as a icon with my car on the map. Now, my home station here will be, as I say, functions as an iGate, but a lot of the time, once I'm out of town, ironically, I'll be too close for my home station to hear me. Signals en route to Traverse City, if I'm up by Mount Pleasant, say, or Clare, will probably skip right over my home station and not be heard by it. I'll be dependent on other stations that are farther away. There's one in western Pennsylvania and another one in southern Ohio that should be able to hear me when I'm out of range of my home station. But one way or another, the transmissions should show up, I say literally within just seconds of when I transmit on the map.
Well, gotcha. Well, I need to be headed to bed, so this is KF8 SNP hopping off.
And WA8 LMF in Hazlitt will be clear.
WHBCI repeater.